Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. Why do what I do? Oh, for you. Today, I'm gonna take you through a few lessons. We're gonna deal with first of all consciousness. That was a question asked to answer from one of my students. I'm gonna answer your question for you. In doing so, I found some other information that might be interesting or go with the conscious concept. So let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message, the message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. The numbers are looking good. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life, and that's what it is. Through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, to get all right thinkers to know themselves with the information that I put together to make sure that happens for you. You tune in, get it, use it, and you'll know thyself also. So I asked the question, do you know yourself? If you don't know yourself before you get here, come on, I got you. It's rhetorical, but if you know how to answer for yourself, knowing thyself, that's what I'm helping you with. That's what I do for you. So a person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do. It's all for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. It's okay. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya, be true. Lesson today is going to end up being about consciousness, but I'm going to take you through what you need to know first to get to there. So I'm going to walk you down a nice little path of information. Okay, so start with the elements of the human personality. You. I gave you the 9 elements a while ago, but this is going to break down a little more simple. I'm going to simplify it a little more so maybe you can understand a little better. So let's go. Now, in order to properly understand the perspective of the Per Im Haru, the lessons that you're being taught, Egyptian book of coming forth by day or enlightenment, it is necessary to have a foundation in the wisdom of the parts and or elements of what? Your human personality. Knowing thyself is the goal. So you need to know these things about yourself. Trying to help you with that. It's important to understand the architecture, the personality, the concept of every human constitution. That means knowing everything about yourself, about your personality. I keep telling you the gods is aspects of your character. Once you understand and learn them, you can master yourself. In doing so, the end result is knowing thyself. That's the goal for all right thinkers. Let's go. My job is to get you there. The Per Im Haru makes a distinction between what? Between these, because the human personality is a conglomerate or composite of several aspects or levels of existence. We're made up of elements, particles, molecules, all that good stuff. That's science. I ain't got time for that. I'm giving you the mental breakdown for it. But these elements, again, are not readily discernible to the ordinary person. Why? Due to the lack of spiritual knowledge. That's why. You're not born spiritually knowledgeable. That's the problem. You have to adapt it, learn it, live it, and manifest it for yourself. Okay? So further, one element may not be effective in all planes of existence. For example, your ka may not be discernible in the ta or the physical plane, while while the ka, which is your physical body, may not be discernible in the pet, which is the heavenly plane, because it won't go there. Sorry about that. But where we at? Heavenly, okay. It is necessary to what? To know about these. Why? Because in knowing them, one gains greater insight into what? The higher planes of their existence. And by the teachings of the Per Im Haru, that's the goal. My job is to fulfill you with the understanding and the knowledge so that you can do the same thing. Know thyself. This section I'm reading right now will concentrate on what? Of the subtle human anatomy and the anatomy of all existence. It will discuss what? The physical, the body, the astral, the mind, and what they call the casual, meaning the higher conscious mind. Okay, the level where you and God become one. Okay, that's the goal of all right thinkers, to reach that level. Religions want you to do the same thing. They just don't give you all the information the proper way to do it for a lot of them. I don't go the wrong way. Some of them know it, understand it, moving on. But that's the concept. That's the purpose of religion, is to get you to know yourself, not just to believe in God. Okay, sorry about that. Now, where we at? Now, it will discuss the physical, the astral, just the casual planes of existence, and what? Their inner workings, which is what? As they relate to the elements that compose the human personality, meaning your mind. We started talking about up here, thinking. First, we will review what? The themes and essential wisdom developed in the book of Egyptian Yoga, which I told you was like my Bible. It's right here. Okay, I got two of them. One is the old, one is new. But yeah, when you learn, when you study, even if it's the Bible, if you can study and read the Bible, understand it, interpret it, and then manifest it, that's the purpose of it. Not to just say, I know Bible, I know Bible verses. No, if you ain't living them, sorry about that. Calm down. Relax. Yeah, I get excited because if it's done the right way, it works. Simple as that. I just do right thinking philosophy the right way, and if you follow it, you'll know it works. Moving on. I live it. I know it works. Now, watch this. Then we'll proceed to look into what? The nature of what? Your subtle spiritual self. Your conscious. With more detail and depth. Okay? So the ancient Egyptian concept of what? Spiritual constitution recognized what? There was 9 separate but interrelated parts that constitute the personality of every human being. I'm gonna take you through it. This should be fun. If you're paying attention, you're going to learn something. Why? Because this is what's important. I'm burning up in here too. Now, the sage looks at the body as a what? A marionette created with what? Thoughts by who? The self, higher self, or as a projection, as in a what? A dream. That's the next level. Okay, get ready. Now, once having awakened from what? The dream of ignorance, you awaken with knowledge of self. When the physical body dies, what happened? The sage who has what? Discovered him or herself, knowing thyself, became oneness with God, became one with the self, we will remain what? As the self, and what? Does not create any more bodies, further incarnate. That means you reach the level of acceptance where you can go home now. You know thyself. You're conscious of who you are. You cannot go home unconscious and being ignorant of yourself. Concept, I like to use caterpillar. We're born caterpillars. We're supposed to become butterflies. And all of those who don't become butterflies, die caterpillar, come back another caterpillar to do it again, to get it right. Good concept. Hope you understand. It's real simple. But watch this. Now, this is because what? Him or her, he or she, has, you ready? Discovered. That means to find out. That means to know. Not like Columbus coming here and discovering American people already here. No, discovering your inner self, your true self. That's the goal of all human beings. More importantly, right thinkers. That's my point. But when you have discovered what? Your essential nature, which is what? God. And there is no more what? Earthly and worldly desires or more human experiences to have. Why? You've done your job. Christians, well done, my good faithful servant. You know me now. You found me. Good job by doing that. I feel like a preacher right now. But that's the concept, and y'all all have it. Everybody do it, just call it different things and go about it different ways. That's understandable. But for everybody who reached that level, you as a human being have reached the highest level of a human being. Not being a billionaire, not being, no, just knowing thyself. Okay? Thus, what happens? There is now no cause for another creation of a new ego personality. Meaning, you ain't got to come back. Party's over. Okay? You done your job. Sorry about that. And for a lot of us, we're going to be a caterpillar for a couple of times over and over again. Don't feel ashamed, but just understand at a certain point in time, you have to make the change, not the caterpillar, you. This is the state that what? That the sage experience personally with what respects to the waking world or the ordinary human beings. I see it, I experience it. I'm just trying to help you out. That's what I'm trying to tell you. What I do is for you. There are what? You're no longer caught up in the illusion of the physical world. Why? You're leaving. Bye-bye. You done what you come here to do. Again, this is called, you ready? Liberation, salvation, Haruhood, Christhood, waking up, spiritual enlightenment, meeting Asar, resurrection, nirvana, etc. I can go on and on. Why? Because everybody got a name and everybody call it something different, but it's all the same thing. This is the loftiest goal of all human beings. Knowledge, again, derived from the senses is illusory. If you're using the physical body to obtain knowledge, you're going to fail. Why? It only has 5 things to work with. Smelling, seeing, hearing, tasting, and touching. That's not enough. When they say go beyond, that means go beyond the physical. I'm a mental man. I'm a thinker. So I'm cerebral. Everything is done with this. You can work through this, but it's done with this. Now, if you look at yourself, honestly, and objectively, which most people can't and don't do, which is that personal problem, that's a you problem, you will what? You will realize that every cell in your body is what? Changing from the time and the moment, from moment to moment. And that what? You are never the same as you were a moment ago. When the Big Bang Theory happens for every individual, when that sperm, the little microsperm, meets that egg, bang, creation. You become to exist in a physical form now, starting from a little, and you're going to grow. That's what he's telling you. The physical body is meant to do that, and it's going to grow to its maximum limit, and it's going to expire. But what's inside the body never dies. That's the spirit. That's what we're trying to get you to understand. And when you become conscious of that, because he gave you this free will to be able to do that, that's what you come here to do. Know thyself. Moving on. I hope you get the lesson. I'm driving home the best I could. Where we at? Now, even solid objects are changing and decaying. Albeit at a slower rate, yeah, but what? Eventually, they will decompose like the physical body when it goes into the ground is going to go back to what it was, elements of nature. Moving on. And into what? The constituted elements. In much the same way, the human body is changing and constantly moving toward what? Its extinction. I mean, it's going to die. We are born to die. Physically, yes. So, I'm scared to die. No, that's intimate. It's what you do before you die that you got control over. Take control and do what you got to do. Know yourself. So when you do die, you're good. But watch this. Is this real? Is this change a quality of your inner self? Upon close examination, what happens? The real you is not changeable. I'm that same dude. The real me, the essence of me ain't changed. My personality changed, my ideas and perspective changed, but the same dude, I'm still him. You don't change who you are. You just find out who you really are. That's the change, okay? That's the born again. In that physical birth, it's a mental conscious birth into spiritual awareness of knowing thyself, becoming conscious. That's the name of the game. Moving on. Watch this. Here we go. Now, excuse me, upon close examination, the real you is not changeable. Why? The real you ready? Is pure consciousness. Well, what's that? Glad you asked. And you become one with the supreme being who is what? Eternal. He's forever. Remember the teachings. Remember, as a human, you come here to know certain things. This is why we got lessons. This is why we have education. This is why I do what I do. A learned man giving information to those who are ignorant to help them become learned themselves. Okay? That's my job as a teacher or sage. The great God inside the common folk. Ancients thought God just in the rich and famous or the wealthy. No, he's in all creation. Christians, not just one, all. Moving on. Now from chapter 17 of the Pert and Haru, what you got? This is what it means. Your inner self is one with the divine self. That means two things going on. Okay? Your ego self is you, personality, ID. We know that, but the idea your inner self is Haru. The spirit that's in you need to be awakened. You need to recognize who you are. You lost your way. When you come into the physical world, you are here on an amnesia trip, trying to remember and find out who you are. Hence, know thyself. Your inner self is one with the divine self. And when the initiatic science, meaning bringing you in, showing you what you need to be doing, shows that what? I'm going to show you that the real you, the innermost self, is unchanging. The spirit you haven't changed. Okay? The conscious you changes. Moving on. I'm about to wrap it up. Again, I see the clock running. I'm trying to make it short. I got two more paragraphs and hope the lesson is done, but I got more. Don't worry about that. Here you go. Where we at? What is the constantly moving? What is it that constantly moving? Constantly restless from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. Again, that's the human body. It's emotion. A body in motion stays in motion. Physical fitness is part of that. Getting up every day, go do physical labor, that's part of that. Some people don't want that. But your body needs that. What? For long life. Moving on. It's exercise for the physical body. The body needs rest. The spirit don't care. Okay? The mind don't need none of that. But watch this. Now, this is what? The thinking mind, which is what he gave you. All of the worries, all of your desires, all your beliefs, all the ambition, and all of your regrets, you carry that with you right up here. These thoughts, again, your worries, your desires, your beliefs, your ambitions, and regrets constitute what? Your mental conditioning. Your personality. And what? More importantly, your ego self-concept. Without knowledge of self, you just haphazardly going to do willy-nilly whatever you like, whatever feels good to you, whatever desires you have. That's animalistic. That's beastly nature. That's the first 3 degrees in life on the chain of 7 of the chakras. You got to raise your level to become what? Compassionate, empathetic. That's the 4th level. That's where you avoid Amet, meaning you're going to be eaten. At the 4th level, you have a chance to survive. I'm just trying to help you survive. Okay, here you go. Remember, the punishment for sin is death. Every sinful act you commit to yourself, you push yourself closer to what? Extension to death. So it's all the same thing. Moving on. And at Judgment Day, all those sins going to mount up and it's going to cause you to die twice. Moving on. That's just a concept. But now, through the process of what? Of your human experiences. We're here to have just that, a human experience. We're not human beings. We're spiritual beings here to have a human experience. Don't let the human part run you. Why? It'll keep you here. That's why. I'll explain that to you as we go also. But we're here at the human experience in the physical world. Your mind has become conditioned to what? To expect to see reality in a certain way. And therefore, what? It perceives life according to its conditioning. This conditioning, your ego self, is what is holding you back from being able to what? Realize what? Your inner self. which is all encompassing, all knowing, pure consciousness. And you, when you do that, you end up blissful and contentment, and you reach the level of extreme peace. Hotel. Okay? That means you reach the level of satisfying your earthly concept what you come here for, to know thyself, not to be rich and famous. Okay, once you have knowledge of self, you can go out and do whatever you want. Your life is complete for this part of your life. Now go do whatever you want, have some fun, enjoy yourself. Why? Because when this is over, you know you ain't coming back. I'm enjoying this ride. Wow, I know this is the last go around. I'm good to go. That's how you feel when you have knowledge of self. And when you know what's going on. You know where you're going. Don't know how when you get there, but you know where you're going. Okay? Let me wrap it up for you. Okay. And understand your ego personality is like, what's this? It's like a movie character. Our life is our own personal movie, and everybody should be the star. I told you that lesson too. But watch this. Your ego self is like the movie character, what? That emerges at the beginning, when you're born, of the movie, and what happens? Fades away at the end. Uh-oh, why? Because the movie screen still remains in order to receive what images the brain still does what that does. Now from other movies. You still have to live into the world, so every stuff is going on. In the same way, what? Your personality emerged out of your mental conditioning at the time of your birth. Again, you come into the world ignorant of who you are. And since then, what happened? It has never stopped what? Changing, moving, craving, and searching for what? Fulfillment. There you go. Ding, 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 ding. The ego self only wants to be satisfied. And that's through the five senses of the physical body. And most of that going to involve sex, money, drugs, whole bunch of nonsense. But that's what that's the ego wants. If you live in that lifestyle, that's what you're going to get. Been there, done that. So when they say raise your conscious level over the ego, watch this. Egoism is what? The feeling of separation from the self and attachment to what? To the illusionary personality, and that arises out of what? Your dream quality of consciousness. It only desires what it feels, what it can tangible. It don't know conscious. It's not, remember, the ego, quickly. When you hear ego, that's without God. Why? Because ego means edging God out. It's selfish. It's by itself. It thinks it's God. Most of us in human form think that too. Out of ignorance, not out of knowledge of self. I know I'm God with knowledge and understanding, not with belief and superstitions. It is intensified what? By the distractions of the mind, and that's due to the pursuit, are you ready? Of fulfillment of the sensual desires, the physical body. At the time of your death, watch this, the gross aspects of your personality, which is the cot, I gave you the 9 aspects. You got the cot and the rim. The cot is the physical body, and the rim is your name. Watch this. Now, your cot and your rim will what? Will cease to exist. The physical body and your name. Why? Don't need that. Next level, you don't need that. It ain't gonna do you no good. But watch this. But the impressions created through these in the unconscious, again, there you go with the consciousness again. Your unconscious will leave you what? Still craving for what? The unfulfilled desires that it had in the physical form. It still has it on its mind. It's going to carry over. Watch this. And this is because why? The deep unconscious mind which is conditioned and impressions of what? The desires of the physical body. It what? It survives death. Yeah. And it follows you where? Into the duat, aka the astral plane, until you what? You ready? Finally are born again in earth plane to what? Once again continue seeking fulfillment, aka reincarnated. Okay? To do it again. That's the end of this lesson. I got more for you. I just know that I'm going to continue to give you information that'll help you know yourself. In closing, right thinkers, may you live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know the right thinker like you passed away. I appreciate you. I'll be back.